She has lived longer than your dog. She has never left her chamber. Not once. In years. And right now, she is making a decision that will determine whether 500,000 lives survive or disappear. What you've been told about queen ants is incomplete. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the truth that even most scientists rarely talk about. Most people think the queen ant is the ruler of the colony, the one giving orders, the boss. But here is the truth. Nobody told you. The queen does not rule. She does not command. She does not even choose what happens in the colony. She is, in the most literal sense of the word, a prisoner, a biological machine, and the entire colony has evolved to keep her that way. But if she doesn't rule, who does? Stay with me. The answer will change how you see every ant you've ever seen. A queen ant can live up to 30 years. In that time, she will lay tens of millions of eggs. In some species, 300,000 eggs in a single day. But here's what's remarkable. She stores sperm from a single mating flight, one flight, that happened when she was just days old. And she uses that stored sperm for the rest of her life, for decades. That one moment, that one flight, determines the genetic future of an entire civilization. But the sperm storage is just the beginning. What her body does next is something engineers are still trying to replicate. I'll show you in a moment. The queen controls the colony not through commands, but through chemistry. Her body constantly produces pheromones, chemical signals that workers absorb when they groom her. These molecules travel through the colony like a broadcast. The queen is alive. The queen is healthy. Keep working. The moment those pheromones drop, even slightly, everything changes. Workers become aggressive. New queens are raised. The colony begins preparing for a future without her. She doesn't need to say a word. Her chemistry speaks for her. Every second of every day. And those pheromones don't just control behavior. They control something far more disturbing. They can stop every other female in the colony from ever reproducing. That's coming next. Every single female worker in the colony has ovaries. They are biologically capable of reproduction, but they never do. Because the queen's pheromones suppress their reproductive system, chemically locking them into a permanent state of sterility. Remove the queen, and within 24 hours, workers begin to activate. Their ovaries wake up. They start laying eggs. It's one of the most powerful examples of chemical control in all of nature. Not walls, not force, just molecules. But here is the question that obsesses scientists. How does the colony know when to make a new queen? The answer involves something that looks almost like democracy. Keep watching. A new queen is not born from different genes. She is born from a different diet. The workers decide, collectively with no single leader, to feed certain larvae a special diet, rich in proteins, fats, and specific enzymes that activate a completely different developmental pathway. The same genetic material, the same egg, but the food transforms it into something entirely different. A future queen, capable of flight, reproduction, and building her own civilization from nothing. This is called caste determination, and it is one of the most extraordinary biological processes on this planet. But what happens to the old queen when the new one emerges? This is where things get brutal. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. When a new queen emerges, one of three things happens. In some species, the old queen and the new queen coexist, forming a dual queen colony, even more powerful than before. In others, the workers themselves turn on the old queen when she becomes less productive. They stop feeding her. She dies within days. And in some of the most dramatic cases, the new queen finds the old queen and kills her, personally. A battle between two queens, each surrounded by her supporters, each fighting for the right to be the future. But there's a species that takes this to a level that will genuinely disturb you. A queen that disguises herself, chemically, to infiltrate and steal an entire colony that isn't hers. That's next. Some ant species have evolved something almost sinister. A foreign queen, from a completely different species, enters an established colony. She doesn't fight her way in. She walks in calmly, because she has evolved to mimic the exact chemical signature of that colony's queen. The workers are fooled. They groom her. They protect her. They raise her young, while slowly, the original queen fades. And one day, the entire colony belongs to an imposter. A civilization stolen from the inside by chemistry alone. So if chemistry is this powerful, can humans use it? Scientists are already trying. And what they've found could change pest control, medicine, and robotics. Stay with me. Researchers at MIT, Harvard, and labs across Europe are reverse engineering queen pheromones. Because if you can synthesize the signal that says, "Queen is alive," you can manipulate entire colonies without poison. You can redirect fire ant invasions. You can protect beehives from collapse. Robotics teams are building swarm systems based on the same decentralized logic that ants use. No central controller, just chemical-like signals between units, exactly like the colony. The queen ant has been solving problems that human engineers are only beginning to understand. And there's one more thing. What happens to the queen at the very beginning? Alone. Underground. No workers, no food. Just her. And the dark. This is survival at a level that's almost unbelievable. After her mating flight, a queen lands. She tears off her own wings, because she will never fly again. She digs a small chamber in the soil, seals herself inside, and then she waits, alone, in the dark, for weeks, sometimes months. She feeds her first larvae using her own body, absorbing the wing muscles she no longer needs, converting them into protein and fat for her young. She does not eat. She does not leave. She simply endures until the first workers emerge, until the colony finally begins. That is how every ant colony you have ever seen started. A single queen, alone in the dark, betting everything on survival. And that founding behavior varies dramatically between species. Some queens found alone, others bring an army, and one species does something so strange, it looks like science fiction. Leafcutter queens carry a piece of the fungal garden from their mother's colony on their mating flight, held in their mouths. The first seed of a civilization, passed from mother to daughter. Army ant queens don't found alone. The colony splits. Half the workers follow the old queen, half follow the new one. A colony that reproduces by dividing itself, like a single living cell. And Dracula ants, the queen and workers feed on the blood of their own larvae. Not enough to kill them, just enough to survive. A brutal, ancient strategy that has worked for 100 million years. But of everything I found researching this video, there is one last thing about the queen that almost nobody talks about, and I saved it for the end. There is a fire ant queen that has been studied for 32 years, still alive. Still laying eggs. Her workers replace themselves every few months. Every ant in that colony today is different from every ant that existed a decade ago. The colony has completely renewed itself, many times over. But she remains, the single continuous thread, the only living connection to the colony's founding moment. Is the colony the queen? Or is the queen simply the colony's way of continuing itself? Scientists debate this. Some argue the colony is the true organism, and the queen is just its reproductive organ. Either way, what you're looking at when you see a queen ant is something unlike almost anything else on this planet. The queen ant is not a ruler. She is not a slave. She is something more interesting than either. A living anchor for one of the most complex social systems ever evolved on Earth. And the next time you see an ant, any ant, remember, somewhere underground, there is a queen who has been alive longer than most pets, producing thousands of lives per day, controlling an empire with nothing but chemistry. If you want to see what a real founding queen looks like, up close, I've got footage in the next video that will surprise you. Subscribe so you don't miss it, and drop in the comments. What surprised you most about the queen? I read every single one,